Jai Atmeshwar, Samarpan Yog of the Himalayas, Part 1, Episode 15. The discussion which took place with Gurudev yesterday made me realize that only living knowledge is the knowledge of spiritual experience, and this is the only true knowledge. This knowledge cannot be bought because it has been acquired through the grace of Paramatma, and one cannot obtain His grace through one's own efforts. Thus, it can neither be bought nor paid for. It is always free, and to find this living knowledge is to obtain His grace. Distributing this living knowledge is an offering of repayment to the Guru in the right sense of the term. The spiritual practice of meditation is also a type of art which can be acquired very easily, and Paramatma's grace can never be obtained through one's efforts. One can only obtain it when He showers His compassion, and one must be worthy at the inner soul level to become a suitable receiver. One cannot be a suitable soul, nor can one obtain purity of the soul through one's efforts, as this effort will only be at the physical level, and Paramatma's grace is not possible through efforts at the physical level. Paramatma's grace is divine energy. This will come to you only if your soul is worthy of it. Several sadhaks take up Guru's work to make their souls worthy whilst undergoing spiritual practice, but they do so only at the physical level. Actually, Guru's work is work which is carried out at the physical level, but the purpose of doing so is purification of one's soul. One should only perform Guru's work after understanding this deeper meaning. Work which is taken up only at the physical level can never be Guru's work. Therefore, Guru's work should happen at the physical level but should be experienced at the soul level. Work which takes place at the physical level but with a complete feeling of surrender at the soul level becomes work at the soul level. Several people undertake the work for the Guru, but they still don't understand the meaning of it. First of all, spiritual work is work which is performed through one's soul for the soul, and the task which is performed through one's soul is the best work. Thus, Guru's work should be the best work because we perform the task with full feeling and emotion and through full concentration. Secondly, this work should not be performed in order to show off to someone, because showing off is related to one's ego, and ego is a fault of the physical body. Guru's work should be undertaken quietly because it can lead to negative results if one performs it in order to show off. First of all, it leads to the creation of one's ego, and secondly, we lose an important chance to develop at the soul level. Thus, when one makes a show of one's spiritual work, it harms the person in two ways. We can therefore understand that the body is only a medium or is symbolic for performing Guru's work. The sadhak can progress in his spiritual practice of meditation through this path also. Guru's work should only be performed with a complete feeling of surrender. When one does spiritual work, one purifies the soul, and as the soul gets purified, it becomes stronger. A strong soul becomes worthy of Guru's grace, and when a soul becomes worthy, then Guru's blessings are showered on him. The worthiness of the soul is related to the showering of Guru's grace. That is why a sadhak who undertakes spiritual practice should be a worthy person. I did not have much information about the ashram, and Gurudev generally performed his own tasks because he knew where everything was kept, and that is why I did the work of sweeping and watering the plants at the ashram. I used to go to the nearby jungles and get firewood, pick and pull out herbs, and whilst performing these tasks, I felt that I was serving my Guru. His hut was surrounded by a big, thick jungle, and one could not even see it until one was quite close to it. The hut was situated on a slope close to the main peak of the hill. Gurudev's daily routine was quite ordinary, but he was fully occupied with it. He looked at the sky continuously every day for a lot of time, and as he looked at the sky, he would say, I get visions, darshan of my Gurudev in the sky, and he keeps sending me messages. Secondly, the sky is not perishable. That is why, when one looks at the sky, one's mind is purified and becomes holy. Therefore, I keep looking regularly at the sky, which enables me to connect with my Guru. The sky is an enormous element, and when a person looks at the sky, his chitta also enlarges. If we keep our attention in a narrow circle, it becomes contracted. If we place it in a wider circle, then it will widen too. The expanse of the sky is vast, and I keep my chitta in the circle of the sky so that it remains expanded. The wider our chitta, the greater is our capacity of absorption. That is why a guru with a developed chitta can talk about great things. His chitta is great because he has kept his chitta on the presence of greatness. Gurudev used to gaze at the sky both in the morning and in the evening. He did this in the morning after sunrise and in the evening before sunset. He spoke very sweetly, and his pronunciation was very clear, as if he was a great scholar of Sanskrit. I liked it very much when he was performing the fire ceremony and chanting the mantras. I wanted him to keep on chanting so that I could keep listening to him. He chanted the mantra from deep inside, and it seemed as if the sound was coming from the sky. That day, I again asked Gurudev Gurudev, I have heard several people enunciating mantras and chanting them, but when you chant them, I like it very much. I have heard the same mantras chanted by other people too. Why is there so much difference when the mantras are similar? Gurudev replied, Mantras have their own special knowledge. No mantra is just a particular collection of words. It is important who gave the mantra and with what feeling it was given. Imagine that a mantra is like clear water, which has its own special qualities and special properties. The clear water takes on the color that is added to it and makes it powerful. The color merges with its own identity and then encourages the color to manifest itself. Similarly, the mantra is full of emotions and brings out one's emotions. It represents the feelings with which the mantra is chanted. That is why there is a tradition of accepting the Guru mantra from the Guru in person. The Guru gives the mantra to his disciple with a feeling of complete surrender, and the disciple experiences the same feeling of surrender with which the Guru has given it to him. We understand that the mantra is a strong medium for expressing one's feelings. The disciple should be able to accept the Guru mantra with the same feeling with which it is given, because it is very important for the disciple to accept it with the same level of emotion. One's feelings are very important in a mantra. A clear rhythm and a clear pronunciation also prove very helpful in making the mantra effective. There are some mantras which, when chanted, start producing a circuit of energy from the person who is chanting them. The shape of the circuits slowly starts changing in the aura of the person, and it slowly gets established in a larger area. And whoever comes close to that area is affected by the mantra. The mantra which I was chanting just now was of a similar type. The words of the mantra are only mediums, but they are important. The mantra will be effective depending on how much feeling you bring to it whilst chanting. Each mantra is created by some energy. Mantras are a medium of energy. If the mantra is chanted only at the physical level to make a show, then the effect of the mantra will only be at the physical level. In reality, every mantra is a gift from Paramatma, which is obtained by man through the Guru's grace. This means that it cannot be obtained through one's efforts. Whatever is obtained through one's efforts cannot be Paramatma's gift, because a gift, a prasad, is only available through his grace. Similarly, the gift of energies that one has obtained through the mantra should be absorbed with great humility and a feeling of total surrender. Your power to absorb will depend on your feelings of surrender. The sound that has been created through the chanting of some mantras remains present in the atmosphere for several years. When it comes across a person who can absorb the sound, it materializes. And that is why a mantra is given great importance in one's spiritual progress. The mantra becomes more effective when chanted close to the fire at the fire ceremony. The special quality of fire is that it purifies the atmosphere, helps man to reach a thoughtless state, and the light which comes out of the fire spreads the power of mantra. Therefore, mantras which are chanted in the specific place of fire ceremony, the Yagyashala, are more powerful. The fire ceremony destroys man's negative thoughts and bestows positive thoughts on him. A person who is filled with positive feelings is more successful in life. Thus, a person who is positive also succeeds in his spiritual life. The ceremony that is performed in the morning is for absorbing energies. All the energies in the atmosphere rise upwards at the time of sunrise. So the fire ceremony that is performed in their proximity bestows energy on us, and the ceremony that is performed before sunset is meant to make the atmosphere pure and holy before nightfall, so that we can be saved from negative feelings in the atmosphere at night. The effect of negativity prevails more at night than during the day. That is why the evening fire ceremony is performed before sunset to save oneself from negative feelings. This creates a positive atmosphere even after sunset. Fire is connected with our thoughts, and man gets more thoughts when the fire element decreases. Man should not get any thoughts whilst worshipping Paramatma, and that is why in every practice of worship, fire is present in some form or the other. Even after a person's death, great importance is given to fire in the practice of cremation. The final rites are performed on a person after his death so that his soul may be liberated from the attractions of the physical body. And so, fire is used to burn the body. Man's physical body is created through the 5 elements, in which the fire element is also present, and this plays an important part in the human body. Gurudev used to put the ashes which came out of the sacred fireplace of the fire ceremony into the plants, and because of that, the plants received a lot of energy. This was why there were such beautiful flowers in his ashram. Gurudev was very quiet and did all the work very quietly. He said, "Why should I be in a hurry when I am doing all this spiritual work? I am doing all this work at the soul level, and I do not bring it to the physical level by doing it very fast. I do all the work peacefully and with complete feeling." I really found this very lovely, and I also learned how to do my Guru's work like him in a proper way. Actually, I was enjoying the work very much. Jai Atmeshwar. We'll conclude the book reading for today over here. Thank you for listening.